They call me the Sequel Critic. I take a look at sequels, prequels, anything made after a feature film that's somehow based off of it, and I give it a proper review on my show. Last week I told you all that I was going to be reviewing Dragonheart: A New Beginning. Well, that hasn't changed, but the thing is, I can't show you any clips. Yeah, you're probably like, why? Well, here's the thing, YouTube sucks. Every single Dragonheart 2 Part 1 I tried to look for, it was removed because YouTube's all anal about certain video clips. And something tells me that even if I could manage to find a clip and put it on my show would be removed. So you want to know what? I'm just going to review it like this. No clips, no pictures, squat. For those who have seen the first Dragonheart movie, and if you haven't seen the first Dragonheart movie, and if you don't want to be spoiled, I advise that you stop watching this video immediately. Okay, you've been warned. In the first Dragonheart movie, Draco, the main character dragon, is the last dragon, and he gets killed at the very end. That should be the end of the story. So there shouldn't be a Dragonheart 2. I could see if they made a prequel to Dragonheart, but not a sequel. And you want to know what? They made a sequel. Because they came up with some stupid thing about there being a dragon egg inside of Bowen's cave. Did I say Bowen? Draco's cave. He's discovered by Bowen, who's an old geezer at this point, and he has to be protected in this monastery, blah 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 blah. There's a big curse about, a prophecy about a Dragonheart dooming mankind, so they have to lock away the dragon. The dragon gets out, they think he's the bad dragon, then it turns out there's another dragon who's evil, and they have a fight scene, the bad dragon dies, the end. That's pretty much the premise of Dragonheart 2. It was a waste of film. A bloody waste of film. You want to know what? I'm actually kind of glad that I'm not showing any clips of this on here because it's a waste of film. It is! Okay, I may not be able to show you any video clips, but I can at least show you some pictures. Let's take a look at Draco from the first movie, shall we? Look at him. This was made back in 1996, the first Dragonheart movie, and Draco looks so real, it's like you could reach out and touch him. Now, Dragonheart 2 was made in the year 2000. Let's take a look at what Drake looks like. He's so cheap-ass looking. Just look at him, he looks cheap. If he was in a video game, he wouldn't look that bad, but in comparison to Draco, he looks fake. Completely fake. And that's what the second movie was. Fake. I can't believe that they made it. I just finished watching it, so I could refresh my memory of it, which I regret, and it was just awful. It's even worse than I remember it being. I mean, it does have some funny bits in it, but it doesn't redeem it. The only redeeming part of it is the fight scene at the end. But, the fight scene with the two dragons, they're fighting, and Drake does this, he's on his back, and he opens his mouth, and he has, ice breath, and he freezes the bad dragon. That was the only cool part. But then that part got ruined when the dragon fell and exploded into ice, and the ice looked like styrofoam. It was blatantly obvious that it was styrofoam. Nothing real about it at all. But this movie was just bad, and it was so cheap that it actually reused scenes from the first movie. Not just one, 3. The first scene it reused was the scene when they're flying in the air, and you can see the windmill in the background, and it's supposed to be the camera flying towards the village. The second scene they reused was a scene right after Draco had spit out the fire. You can see the fire going across the field. They didn't show Draco, but they showed the fire going across the field and showing one of the buildings blow up. And the third scene was the most obvious one. They reused the opening scene from the first movie, the scene with all the horses riding down the hill. All they did was add really badly dubbed ha, 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 ha over it, and then they showed a really cheap looking Drake flying through the scene, so you would think, oh, it's not from the first movie. It is! It doesn't matter if you dub over it and add a really cheap looking dragon to make it look different, it's still the same bloody scene! At least it wasn't like Little Mermaid 2, which is a rehash of the first movie. It sort of tried, but it failed because the first movie did not need a sequel. It did not end on a cliffhanger. Draco died. The good guys won the bloody end. That's my opinion about Dragonheart 2. It goes down the John. Bye-bye. See you later, chicken delata. Well, I am the sequel critic. I take a look at sequels. Well, you know what I do. The name explains it. And, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to review next week because I want to make sure there's actual footage of the movie I want to review before I say I'm going to review it. I promise this will be the last episode I just do a blatant talking review. Sorry for wasting your time, and I hope you enjoyed my opinion. Good day and cheerio.